This is what I'm thinking about today. Why are Christians so mad? And I sort of want to address this from both the answering this question from non-Christian folks, but also addressing we Christian folks as well. But generally, when I see the kind of frustrated, angry, vitriolic spouting of so-called Christian folks, I know why-ish. In part, it's because the kind of doctrine and theology we've been taught, is so rigid and firm and requires this strict obedience. And it's sort of like we have built this fortress around us based in a theological understanding that if we get wrong means our eternal damnation and suffering. So already on flawed logic, right? If God is loving, but nonetheless, the fortress is built and it needs to be defended. And the more the world changes and doesn't match that theological fortress, the more fiercely it has to be defended so that we don't end up in this eternal damnation. And I think it also becomes sort of embedded with identity in a way that feels like if our theology or ideology is questioned, our very personhood is questioned. Our identity is questioned. What we've built our existence and understanding. And that feels like the world crumbling out from underneath you. So I get it. I understand. I have empathy for the space where the world as you've known it feels under attack, or if you start to even engage some of those hard questions, feels like the world crumbling underneath you. And that's exactly what the gospel does over and over and over again. Jesus's whole jam was questioning authoritative and religious structures. And not because it needed to happen once, because it is a rhythm, it is a system that needs to happen over and over again as our theological ideas become more and more solidified and entrenched and inflexible and exclusive. We've got to flip the tables again. We've got to question the thing again. We've got to call out the authority figures and those with power who are perpetuating systems that exclude and become increasingly rigid again and again. And I understand that that's scary and that's so much harder than grasping hold of one system and just living into it and following the rules. It is. You're right. And it is scary. It's scary if you have sort of climbed this certain ladder of handholds and then you find out that it's not going anywhere and the only way to continue to grow is to let go and fall. Terrifying. Got it. It's hard. And it's the only way. And you'll be okay. And I also just want to address some of my non-Christian folks and friends. I see you. I understand you. I believe like you in many ways. Don't let the rigidity of others deter you from your own spiritual seeking and path. Discover your way. Let go of the rungs, which you've already done in some ways if you've abandoned the traditional structures. So in a way, good job. Like in a way, you've already started the journey if you're questioning the structures that no longer serve you or make sense with how you understand the world and how you understand God. But let's not stay there. Just as I will push my Christian friends to not stay in the place of the rigidity and the grasping at everything they thought they knew, I will push my non-Christian friends to do the same. I don't really care if your journey starts with going back to church or if your journey starts with opening the Bible again. But let it start somewhere. Let it start with a softening and an opening and a forgiveness of those who pushed you out. Maybe you're not ready for that, and that's okay too. But so maybe it's just the idea. Being open to the idea that there might be something salvageable in belief in a higher power or faith or spirituality. And, and I often get crap from people who are like, you're not Jesus-y enough, like you need to get people back to church and da-da-da. y'all, screw all that. Forget all that. I don't care. God's got you regardless. Regardless. And if you're so far walked away from everything that means spiritual and everything that means faith and everything that means church, I don't expect you to jump back in. But turn and look, take a step, see where it leads you. And I think this is why Christians be so mad. You know what I mean? Because of all of this, because they're fiercely jealous of those who've been able to walk away without the fear, and fiercely defending everything that they know and have known. But if we actually take on a more Jesus-y posture of being flexible and gentle and pushing back against structures and loving everybody and reaching out to the margins, I don't think we have to be afraid anymore of if we got it right. I don't think whether we get it right or not decides our eternal fate. So just keep journeying, okay? Whether you're in the middle of it and you need to walk away a little bit, or whether you're so far walked away you can't even see it and you need to turn back a bit, or find a new path, or whatever it is. Let's all just keep paying attention. Grace and peace, friends.